Hello my dear student, how are you? So today we have a special class for CBSE class 10 and already we discussed the most important some topic in the coordination of animals, right? So today we discuss about the coordination in plants, but how it is happening, right? So this is the most important topic for your board exam CBSE class 10. This topic is ultimately for the plant movement. So at first all of the students, a special warm welcome to all of you like Sion, Cinderella and Shatanik, Honiket, Shorashish, Gaurav, Rastif, Anubhav, Shohom, Shudipto, Dishari, Shomojit, Oendrila, Ankon, Devarun, Shomoditto and Shamriddhi, Shutanu, Srijita, Devolina, Nirupama, Ishan, Krishnashish, Aroshi, Shouresh, Roshmi, Promit, Devarho, Shaptarshi, Shomojit, Kaushani and the Devabha. All of you are very warm welcome to our new session, that is the plant movement. You know the plant movement is the most important thing that is we discuss in our today class. But how the plants movements are happening? How the plants movement are happening, that is also we discussed in our today class. So first you tell me the plants movement are happening or not. Plants can move from one place to another, but at first you tell me what is the difference between the locomotion and movement, because you discuss about that movement. But what is the difference between the locomotion and movement? Please write down in the live chat. If you know, write down in the live chat what is the difference between the locomotion and movement. Right? Like I just fixed or still stand one position and move my hand. That time it is called the movement. But when total our entire body are change the position, that time it is called locomotion. So animals generally locomotion in animal body, the locomotion are happening. On the other hand, in the plant body or plant system, generally the movement are happening right now, right? But what is the importance of the locomotion and movement? Why the plant move their parts? What is their importance? Also, animals they can move and in their body the locomotion and movement also be happening. But why? Anyone you write down the one option. Why plant and animal can move or locomote? Write down in the live chat. Why plant and animal are locomote or move? Write down in the live chat. Right, very good. So food, right, shelter, reproduction, that is a very important some reason by which the plant can move or animal can locomote from one position to another position, right? So now we discuss the movement in plants. So some plants, that is like some algae, like the Chlamydomonas, like the volvox, they can move, right? They can locomote also. The plant can move. The animals move from place to place, another place. So it is called locomotion. So plant cannot locomote generally. Lower group of plants can locomote like algae, like Chlamydomonas. This is called the tactic movement. But in here, the movement of plants and animals, why it's so different? Why plants do not require to the locomotion? Why? Because the plants are autotrophic in nature, they can produce their own food, right? So by the process of photosynthesis, but animals cannot produce their own food, they can require for searching the food. So they locomote one place to another. So animals show the both locomotion and movement, but plants show only movement. Like you can observe that is in the Venus flytrap. When the insects are just put in here, that time they close their lids. So this is the example of movement, right? So that is happening in the plant. So if you are classify the movement in plants, so it is a two types. Tropic movement, another one is a nasty movement. What is the difference between and what is a different type of tropic movement, that is we discuss in our today's session. Number one, tropic movement. Tropic movement means when the movement is happening with the direction of the stimulus. In here, like it is the sunlight or sun is the stimulus. When your stimulus move, the plant parts also be moved, right? So this is the directional of the stimulus. It is the tropic movement. Sometimes the phototropics, Phototropism, chemotropism, geotropism, all is there. But what is the difference? Number one by one we discuss all of these things. Number one, show the direction of the stimulus, from where the stimulus are coming. The movement also be happening towards this direction. So it is called the tropic movement. But what type of stimulus is present or involved in that particular movement? According to this, we classify it: phototropism, thigmotropism, chemotropism, hydrotropism and geotropism. Why their name is different? Because photo means the light. When the stimulus are the light, when the touch is the stimulus, that time it is called thigmotropism. When some chemical substance are involved in the movement of plants, that time it is called chemotropism. And in here, hydro means the water. So where the movement is plants is happening due to the help of the water, that time it is called the hydrotropism. And when the gravitational force are act as a stimulus, that time it is called geotropism. So one by one we discuss all of these things. Number one, phototropism, next the thigmotropism. Like you put a plant one side of the window, only one window are open now. You can, and this plant you kept in that particular position, and some days after you observe that the plant parts move towards the sunlight. This is called the phototropism, because this movement of plant parts are happening due to the light, right? Positive phototropism show the shoot, positive phototropism should move towards the sunlight. On the other hand, root show the negative phototropism, show they are go opposite to the sunlight, right? You bear in mind, that is the most important. Show movement of plant response to the stimulus of earth gravity. That time it is called the geotropism. In here, roots are grow towards the gravity and shoot are grow opposite to the gravity. So roots are ultimately show the positive geotropism and should show the negative geotropism. Now the chemical substances are involved. When the pollen grains are formed in the stigma, they ultimately go to the embryo sac. But how they identify the embryo sac? In here, one chemotropic movement are happening. Due to some release of these chemicals, they can identify where the embryo sac are located in there. So the pollen tube can go inside this embryo sac because fertilization are happening inside the embryo sac. So movement of plant parts due to the chemical substance. Now we discuss the hydrotropism, that means the water. In here, you just put a plant, a porous pot is there with the water. After first time you observe that root are go inside the soil, but after that, 1 or 2 days after, the roots are bent towards the water. Very interesting. But how it is happening? Due to hydrotropism, because the movement of plant part due to the response of Water. It is called the hydrotropism. Very easy. And now the plant movement are happening due to one touch. Suppose in climbing plants you just put any threads. That time they can just attach and touch these things and just rotate on that particular things and grow on it. But this plant movement are used to the touch. So thigmotropism. Now we discuss about the nastic movement where no direction of stimulus are happening. Stimulus is present or not, that is important, not the direction of the stimulus. Like nastic movement of plant, not dependent on the direction of the stimulus. Mimosa pudica in their plants, that is the movement are happening for not for the growth, right? Only you touch this thing. Like movement of plant, photonasty, thigmonasty and thermonasty, there is a three type of nastic movement. You can observe that nastic movement are not dependent on the direction of the stimulus. Like oxalis is a one important plant. When the light is present, they are blooming, and light is not present, just fall off. So the light is present or not, that is important. In which direction light is coming is not important. On the other hand, because it is a light is important, the stimulus, so photonasty. But the Mimosa pudica, that is the touch me not plant, when we touch the plant, that time their leaves are drop out. Why? This is the touch is the stimulus, so it is called the thigmonasty. Also it is happening in the Venus flytrap, that time insects are attached or touch in that particular part, that time the leaves are closed, right? So in here touch is the stimulus, so it is the thigmonasty. Another important, when the temperature are help to the movement, like Coccus flower response to temperature is 37 degree light, that time the floweration are happening, but temperature is like the very low, that time floweration is not happening. So the temperature ultimately control the movement, so it is called the right, that means is the thermo, that means the thermonasty. So this chapter or this topic is very easy, right? So schematically all of students, please write down after the class or finished, please you write down the plant movement, right? So it is a two type, tropic movement, another one nastic movement. Tropic movement, that is the phototropic, right? Geotropic, hydrotropic, right? As like format you write down and write down one sentence about all of this information. On the other hand, nastic movement, they are the three types, like the thigmonasty, like photonasty and the thermonasty. And most important, so two important homework question I given to you. That is, first question is, write the difference between the tropic movement and the tactic movement. Second question you write down, explain the different type of tropic movement in plants. Third question, explain the different type of nastic movement in plants. So during our session, we ultimately know that the plant movement, that is the most important. But plant movement are happening for the growth, other than not they depended on growth. When they ultimately seedlings are grow, see any seeds are germinate and seedlings are grow, that time the movement and the growth are similar things. On the other hand, like you see that in the touch me not plant, that time their growth or movement is not for the growth, right? So this is the two type of growth, right? One is the movement is dependent for growth, another is not dependent for the growth. And in this plant movement, that is like tropic movement, we already discussed this thing. Auxin and gibberellins, that is the most important to plant hormone, which is take the important role in the tropic movement. So that is our plant movement chapter. It is a very easy topic, but most important topic in your syllabus. So thank you all of you. Thank you. Arushi, Shoresh and Devapam and Promit and all other students are thank you very much and wish you the best of luck. Thank you.